Hey guys, I ended up doing my imaginative prayer with my wife, and I think that's in part just because I want to be able to do that more consistently with her. That's not something that we do on a regular basis. We don't pray together really on a regular basis. Unfortunately, that's something that we have recently talked about, like wanting to do together more. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to say, like, hey, like let's actually do this in a way that might be a little bit easier, just because someone's going to be kind of guiding us through it. So, yeah, and so we um, just sat down together and said, all right, like let's see what this is all about. We read through the passage and uh, yeah, and we both kind of encountered Jesus in different ways um, that have a lot to do with things that we're dealing with kind of individually at the moment. I've talked a lot in this class about kind of the hurt that I have felt of late from Christian community. Um, and Part of that has kind of pressed me to be a very harsh critic towards people in our church and people who do things differently from me within our church. Um, and Kind of as we were praying, I saw myself in the middle of the crowd, and I felt myself holding a stone in my hand, um, looking at someone who had sinned um, and who'd been dragged out in front of everybody. And uh, I just kind of had this realization that, like, to be in community with Jesus and with those that He has chosen for Himself is to be a part of the community that doesn't throw stones at one another. Um, and that was, yeah, it just kind of felt like a rebuke, just in the way that I can be hypercritical at times. It's just that people in the church are trying to figure things out same as me, and they're not going to do it the same as me, but as long as they're pursuing Jesus, it's nothing to throw a stone at. My wife also felt herself in the crowd, but specifically was looking at the religious teachers and as the ones who were familiar to her in this scenario, the ones who kind of held the power of judgment and um, who made decisions and who kind of decided how life would be, and who really had the power to judge whether you were in or out, whether you were a part of this thing or not. And she saw kind of in that moment the authority of judgment get handed over to Jesus. And so for her, that was really important just because um, she tends to be very insecure. She tends to um, focus a lot on what other people think of her. And this was just kind of a moment of realization that the judgment doesn't belong to the people standing around or the people you've always kind of submitted yourself to. The judgment actually belongs completely to Jesus. It only matters really, ultimately, what He thinks and how He sees her. Yeah, and so it was a really beautiful time for both of us. I think we both just kind of had some time to encounter Jesus in a way that um, dealt with things that we're going through specifically. So, yeah, hopefully this is something that'll push us to do to pray more together moving forward.